having attention to this.
Yeah.
Call to order. Our meeting started. Are there any announcements?
Yes, I don't think I can.
John, who's going to tell you?
Mr. President, nobody else.
What? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Are there any other announcements?
No, I guess they have.
Not hearing any. There's a couple of items. Attorney Forsyth is going to bring something up, and you can do that after the consent calendar. Is that okay?
Yeah, so we can adjust the agenda maybe after there's a motion and if I have to go through the agenda, nice change.
Yes, ma'am. That's not for you. Not hearing anything else. There's one other comment. Our treasury report is in. So we're going to go ahead and include that in the consent calendar. So, nothing exciting here, so we'll go along with it unless any of the managers has a question. So that said, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Hi.
Uh-oh.
That's when I wanted to make the change. Motion second, make the change and then vote. Anyway, what I was gonna suggest is there is an item on the agenda, which is under business and reports. Number 2, it's permit 2025-36, which is St. Mary's Cemetery. There's an individual here who is here for that permit, and he has asked if he could go like before there's a closed meeting and all the, so if he could be moved up before the closed meeting.
If the managers are okay with that, we can take care of that business following the consent calendar. Is that appealing to all? Okay, very good. So, we were in the middle of approving the agenda with that modification. That's all right. So we had a second and we all voted unanimously. So the agenda has been approved. Okay. Now, public forum. Anybody wishing to speak? Is there anybody here wishing to speak outside of the folks that are here for what I believe are reasons regarding property sales or anything else? Going. Okay, so that said, don't hear anything from the public forum. We'll move to the consent calendar. I have one item that I would like to bring up. First, we'll do this. I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar, including the treasurer's report.
Second.
So moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Hi.
It is approved. I made a mistake. I'll just make a note. Mr. Engineer, regarding the, let's see, our draft meeting notices. Page 1, number 18, spelling under CAC member's name. And the same thing on page 2, 35 to 37.
The old.
Yes, sir. I'm sure he would love that. Okay, so we're squared away. Now, let's move on to the person that wanted to be heard. And who is that, gentleman?
So I think it would just be moving up the discussion regarding this permit, and then if, I think he's here to hear the outcome or if there were any questions.
Very good. Okay, and this was the
St. Mary's,
St. Mary Cemetery.
yep,
I think it's here somewhere.
That's.
It is in our packet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is everybody on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mr. Engineer, could you briefly need to do that?
Mr. President, this is item XA2.
Right in front of me. Yeah, figures.
This project's located in the extreme northwest corner of Valley Branch Watershed District and the northwest side of the lake. A representative for the Church of St. Peter contacted me last year about the project and described the project as filling in a ditch with a pipe, that leads to a well. At that time, the way I understood the project, it did not require a permit. The project started construction and there is some fill within the 100-year flood elevation of the wetland, so therefore a valid portion is required. Aaron Wold of our office visited the site to make sure that there's no wetland fill with the pipe. She still needs to confirm that the riprap at the full width of the pipe into the wetland is not causing wetland fill.
Okay,
But otherwise, the project does not increase the rate of runoff. It increases the 100-year flood elevation of the wetland by less than 1/10 of a foot because of that wetland. Because of that fill, it is raising it slightly, but it's less than 1/10 of a foot. And so the reason it was on the regular meeting agenda rather than the consent calendar, there are two reasons. One is the managers have talked quite a bit about whether to require drainage easements over 100-year flood elevations. So I wanted to get input from the managers on that, if the managers might be willing to consider a variance on that. And then I'd work with the project proponents to submit a variance for the managers to consider. And I guess the other is talking with Scott Dudek, a representative of the cemetery today. He would ask that the managers waive the permit fee. He feels that the project is benefiting the wetland and that by putting the water in the pipe and then draining it into the wetland rather than just eroding the channel and putting possibly some sediment getting into the wetland. Feels it's a beneficial project for the wetland. And he said that the cemetery will be maintained by the city. Those are the questions I have before the board on whether to require drainage easement. And associated with that would be a surety and what level of permit application fee to charge. Typically, the permit application fee in this case would be $1,500 because there's a $1,000 minimum when you're dealing with wetlands, and then the grading in place is added on top of that, so $1,500. If you were to look at this as an after the fact permit, then it'd be $3,000. Or if you're looking at it as a landowner doing something good for the wetland, I guess it'd be your discretion.
Mr. Brown, not to throw you under the bus or anything like that, but let's get your thoughts on this particular permit.
But I'm just curious, the pre-existing condition, it wasn't an eroding gully, is that what I'm hearing?
It was a channel. I don't know the severity of the erosion.
Okay. And what, as far as the easement, I'm just trying to envision what benefit there would be on that easement. I mean, it is a wetland that's protected.
Secretary Brock, it is a wetland that's protected at the wetland elevation.
Yeah.
So this would, Branch rules would say it needs to be, the easement would need to be at the 100-year flood elevation, which is higher than the wetland. Here.
And without that 100-year elevation, is there something, an ordinance in place or something that would say we're not going to have cemetery plots below the 100-year, or I mean, I'm just wondering if there's some other protection where are you be redundant? I'm just trying to.
Secretary Brock, I'm not aware of any rules that would prohibit him from having graves for the
Okay. So I have to ask the question. Why might we need a variance?
Mr. President, in the past, when the managers have not required, easement over the 100-year flood elevation, the managers have requested that they submit a variance application. As your rules do say that we will require drainage easement up to the 100-year flood elevation, except in certain situations such as a sand blanket paving. This is not a sand.
No, they're essentially putting in, I think it's a metallic corrugated pipe, no?
I believe it's a reinforced concrete, right?
Reinforced concrete,
Plastic.
plastic, it's even better. I heard it lasts longer. Forever plastics.
It is plastic.
Sure, would you like to elaborate on any of that?
But I,
Yes.
only that once a week I go to Fleet Farm and I've been watching this. And I finally said, what's going on? And that's all. Pipe appears. City of North St. Paul didn't know anything about it or wasn't going to say anything. And I've asked for data and this is just as a sidelight. They gave it to me in a dot message extension, which I have to buy software in order to see what they're giving me. This is not, all I wanted to know what was going on. And
You bet.
I got caught in now having answered the data request and I can't see what they said about it. Unless I buy software, I don't have Outlook. But that's just a sidelight, just watch out when you just want to say, what's going on?
If we understand that. So, yes, sir.
Is it a landlocked wetland? Is there an outlet for the wetland?
But Gentlemen, there is an outlet that drains the wetlands, so
Okay,
it runs
through that,
It runs between two houses,
okay,
probably almost across the street from your house.
okay, oh, yeah, maybe. Okay, I think I know where.
And this pipe is going to be buried.
Mr. President, I believe eventually the photo that I saw earlier this spring, it was buried closer to the west, the road, but it was not yet buried closer to the wetland. I think once the city was informed of the activity, the city had them stop activities until they obtained a permit from the city.
Okay.
President Marchand.
Yes, sir, please.
Major Hanson, did they tell us how much fill they're gonna put over the pipe? Because the pipe was basically sitting in the gully or sitting on top of the land, which they would need to then come in and cover over. I don't see anything on the permit. Do we know how much fill they're bringing in?
Mr. President, Inspector. Robert, they did indicate that in at least an email. I don't know if that's on these plans or not, but the amount of fill that they're proposing was used to calculate what the impact would be to the 100-year flood elevation, and that impact is less than it.
Thank you.
Just some personal history on the older part of the cemetery. There's a section of it, I'm sure it was well before Valley Branch existed, that on occasion I've seen it flood, on top of grave sites. And I had some concern about that in terms of something that I don't think we want to see that happening. And maybe the easement is a way to avoid that. I'm not sure if that would really, it seems like it might set a boundary in terms of where grave sites could be put. That would restrict that kind of thing happening in the new part of the cemetery.
So it would be in our collective interest to acquire an easement?
Pardon? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
potentially.
Okay. Very good. So we do that, we're going to need a variance for this. No, not at all?
If you require a variance, that's what your rules say. If you require the easement, that's what your rules say, so no variance is required. If you want to waive the easement requirement, then a variance stage.
Okay, and based on our conversations we've had recently, with Mr. Brock about this. What are your thoughts on acquiring these?
You know, I mean, if we had gone through our rule revision process, potentially this may or may not fall in, depending on how that wording is. But yeah, if there's already sites that are flooding and
A different, the first addition to the cemetery, which is a block away.
Yeah.
And it's got, these are grave sites that were probably around the early 20th century, so 100 years ago. I'd be interested in hearing what their standards are now. I don't necessarily want to impose a easement on it, but I don't want to see the same kind of thing happening in the new part of the cemetery, the part that they're building right now. And that, having the easement would be one way to assure that that doesn't happen. So I guess I'm looking for discussion about it.
Mr. Bill?
Would a variance request also be required to waive the permit fee?
I don't think so. I think the manager set that, right? It's not. Is it in the rules? Like okay, so then,
The
no,
actual amount is.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I think that's doable. But just if I can throw in, possible way forward is to approve the permit with the recommendations per the district's rules, which includes requiring an easement. And if I get pushback from, in the conversation with the church, I indicate you certainly have the ability to bring a variance saying there's already restrictions in place, right? We don't need it because we couldn't do it, right? We couldn't build even if we wanted to. We don't want to spend the money on a surveyor. In which case, then we can have the conversation and say, we'll bring that to the managers and they can possibly waive that requirement.
along the line of what I was thinking. And also, I guess, as far as the permit fee, I mean, we've got expenses out of pocket already for Karen Wald and yourself and that sort of thing. So personally, I'm not inclined to waive the fee.
No.
That's
So-
the reason we charge the fee, is to cover our costs.
Right.
The analysis.
Taxpayer dollars. So, be prepared to, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve permit 2025-36 as written. And if they chose to request a waiver of the easement, that would need to come in at a later time with justification.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
it is approved. You know what to do.
Just gonna look at it. Because this is a sidelight, that thing, that plastic pipe was there sitting naked through the winter,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, small little loads of sand started appearing going down the pipe. It had to be like a Ford F-550 or something like that. It wasn't a big truck, a dump truck.
Okay.
And they just started going down the pipe from Helen down. And it looks like, if we cover it, nobody will know what it is. So it became kind of hilarious at points.
Okay. All right, good enough now. Thank you, sir. Satisfied?
Yeah.
You can carry your business. You can hang out for the rest of this wonderful meeting or Whatever you think will happen. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. With that squared away, let's move to the updates and requests from partners, volunteers, and citizen advisory committee. I don't see Mr. Brockman here. No one else, no comments, nothing, not hearing anything. We will move on to business and reports. Attorney.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to thank all the homeowners for coming in tonight to meet with all of the managers. It's nice to have a face to talk to. I'm Tori. I'm the one that you've been working with so far. Just to kind of frame what happens here. We'll go down the line of who's listed in the agenda. And you'll get a chance to speak to the managers. They can ask you questions. You can ask them questions. But really, this is an informational meeting at this stage. And you're welcome to leave once you're done speaking. Or you can stay so long as the meeting is public. But we will close the regular meeting and have a closed meeting to discuss the counteroffers that are made or have been made. During the closed meeting, you'll be asked to leave. You can come back in once the regular meeting is opened again. If you wanted to stick around for that, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I will contact you with what they decide during the closed meeting. With that, we'll start with Mr. Seloff. And managers, I've given you an amended memorandum with today's date. That is part of your confidential meeting packet, but it's a good quick reference for you with what the property owners are going to talk to you about tonight.
Very good.
Go ahead, Mr. Seloff.
Well, I guess I got an offer. I submitted a counter offer based on the appraisal that I received. I've got a realtor I'm working with for housing. And I think my counter offer is pretty much in line with, it's less than I'm gonna have to pay to get something equivalent within 3-4 miles of Stillwater. Same square footage. I mean, it's this reality. I looked at several houses, again, so similar square footage. Couple in Stillwater, most of them needed $75,000 to $100,000 worth of work done. Windows, flooring, gutting kitchens, gutting bathrooms. So I think my counter is reasonable. You're gonna have to review it
We shall.
and let me know what you think. Got any other questions for me? No. I'll probably hang around out in the hallway.
Yes, this time, as our attorney stated, we'll discuss this in a closed meeting, but this time, we appreciate your information. Do any of the managers have any comments or questions?
Yeah.
Just any questions? For Mr. Seloff? Thank you. Thank you. Not hearing any. We thank you kindly. And we're gonna move on to our next homeowner. Is that correct?
Yes, and that would be
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Doherty.
Oh, hi.
Ms. Doherty. Hi, Ms. Doherty. How are you? Is that Mr. Doherty?
No.
I'm trying to be rude. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Yeah.
I'm
a Mr. Gordon.
Yeah,
I think you're.
What's going on? Anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm just here for support.
Go right ahead, sir,
Um,
or ma'am.
I mean, similar, I submitted a counter offer that I think is fair considering, the market these days and what I've been looking at to get something, that's similar to, the benefits that I had at this current home, to find those same kind of benefits. Counter is fair. And did I want to ask if, upon the sale
Yeah.
of the house, am I able to take kind of normal things that you'd leave in a house if you were reselling, such as,
I think originally,
Or-
we had heard that we'd be able to take like appliances and stuff like that as well, so we're still wondering about that, if that's a thing.
yes. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I always have to refer to counsel.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
understanding is yes,
okay,
Okay, yeah, just wondering like,
but if you're.
things that typically you wouldn't take with you.
In prior
Yeah.
closings, that has been allowed because
Right,
frankly, the district's gonna demolish the home, so.
right,
Right,
yeah,
That is less things in a landfill.
okay, that's, yeah,
and so you have some carved cherubs,
right, Exactly.
barricades or something,
Exactly.
we get it. We're not trying.
oh yeah, and then the time as well.
Oh, wondering, so there was a vacate date, set on the offer that was originally sent to me. Wondering if it could be slightly extended just for benefits of, moving out for me is gonna take a while. I work full time. I don't have a lot of time to spend
Yeah.
totally, moving out. So just a slight extension on being able to get those items out of the home would be appreciated.
So just out of curiosity, what sort of time frame?
Like November first, I think, because it was September 2nd was initially
Yeah.
noted, but an extra, what would that be, 2 months?
Just 2
would be-
months. To give us time to like move everything out
Yeah.
and find a spot. Yeah,
And to try to find a house
yeah,
that,
yeah,
houses go quick. It's hard to,
Having trouble finding.
yeah, something
It's-
that's comparable.
Yeah.
yeah, so,
And if I could just jump in, Miss Doherty's counteroffer was just sent to me today. It is in the packet again that you will have for the closed meeting, but she did provide a full page document of her counteroffer. A quick summary of the terms of her counteroffer are in that amended memo that I
Oh,
referenced.
excellent. Thank you.
I would like to clarify with you, Ms. Doherty.
Yeah.
That if you wanted the vacation by November first, would that be the 80-20 that you had referenced in previous correspondence?
well, I would think if,
We're hoping we can find
You
a
will.
home before that, so 80-20 would be.
right,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we'll leave that alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't think that would be,
I think that was like, we were thinking of that.
would be there longer, but I don't
Yeah.
think we'll need to,
Yeah, because originally we, like, when we were first talking about
yeah,
it,
just initial talking.
there was like a throw mention of that, but then.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to,
Yeah,
hopefully
by
find
November second,
something.
hopefully.
By then we wouldn't ask the 80-20.
Yeah,
It would kind of be the closing date of, September 2nd, but just allowing that
that move out date
That-
would just be further back.
extra time to just
Yeah.
get out,
Sure.
basically,
Okay.
because a month and a half is, well,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Can I-
yeah,
Yes,
Can I
please.
clarify?
Yep.
So you'd be okay with closing on September 2nd, but you wouldn't vacate until November 1st? Or you
Well-
want to close on or before November 1st? Because, and let me
Well,
explain sort of what.
Our issue is that all of her assets are tied up in this house.
yeah,
So obviously, for us to qualify for a new purchase, we have no access to a bridge loan at this point to make down payments for a new home and so that's one of the issues we're just trying to figure out how to handle. We're not experts at this. We realize that that's weird to close in September and move out in November. Don't know whether it's even possible or not, but if it's possible, that would free up our capital requirements for any new loan that we have. But
Yeah.
I guess that's all it is.
We understand.
Yeah, it's just, she doesn't have a lot of cash sitting in the bank.
Same thing.
I don't have a cash issue, but the finding housing issue, anything that's actually. You also sent me one earlier this week, over in Hudson, it's sold within days. If it's decent, it doesn't need a ton of work, it's gone.
yeah.
They're going by leaps and bounds over there, right?
Yeah.
Like even in the Woodbury area.
Oh, yeah.
We've been looking at are just gone within the same day we buy.
There was one in Woodbury that I looked at, and I got the shop under the garage, which is really hard to find.
yeah,
Yeah, I got a table saw, bandsaw, I got a whole woodworking shop set up down there. Like replicating that, you get a large, 3.5 car garage. Cause most places, there's just, places
Yeah.
for the
yeah,
shop in the lower level, like.
So you got set up for it, right?
So but yeah, the finding a place and actually talking with a realtor that I've been working with, was asking me any chance he could like rent that for a time after closing, just to, within some limited time, couple of months, whether it's November 1st or whatever,
Mhm.
well, closing on another one to get in, because it's challenge.
Yeah.
So we all got the same issues.
Very good. All right. Our next homeowner is,
Mr. Kaler, who is the representative for, Property Restoration Management, Inc. This is for 2790 Legion.
0. Oh, okay, very good.
Well, I basically in a little bit different situation. I have a tenant who's with us today. And I actually am looking for the 80/20 at this point. But the move out date for her and her husband is somewhat of a, time issue. And she's here to explain her situation, so it may benefit everybody to understand, why I'm asking for what I'm asking. And I'm okay with the price that you guys, that they offer. I just want more time for her to find a place. That's
Okay,
what I'm looking for.
ma'am, would you like to
Yeah,
share that with us?
Yeah, again, my name is Lorraine Rowell. My husband has had several strokes
Okay,
and he's a fall risk. And we're on a one level, the top level is one level. And so it's trying to find something that's going to be suitable and being able to help to move also. It's just me and him, and my one son's in Wisconsin, my other son's here, but the move out date, like the furthest possible. Like I've talked to somebody in the neighborhood and they said that you guys are gonna really do anything until 26, like not put anything down or moving ahead or doing anything. So I guess I would like to stay as long as I can. I don't know what that 80/20 means, if I pay the rent to him still or to you still or who? To Mark? And if he's okay with that, I'm okay with that. And I would keep you updated, I do have a couple storages, because we have a nonprofit business, and we have a lot of tools and stuff like that, so I'm gonna start packaging, really start moving that stuff out, just so it's, in case something does pop up, that we can, we don't wanna go into a senior living facility.
we get it. We understand the hardship.
Yeah,
I believe we all do. So give us an idea of time frame.
well, like they're saying November's cold, we just start.
We know,
Can't
yeah.
predict the weather, so it's like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen by November, I don't know, what you guys would allow. If you're not doing, like they said, if you're not doing anything there, and it's, somewhere in the paperwork, I don't keep that paperwork, but for the 2026, they said that they were able to stay till, so,
All right.
I don't know.
Part of the timing, and I think Susanna was gonna touch on this, when we were talking with Ms. Doherty, is the district has a set sum of money from a grant that has to be spent by November 1st. So that's why the closing would have to happen well before then, and that's because of the timing involved in having a closing with a government entity. So the closing would have to happen, and that's when you would get 80% of the proceeds, and the remaining 20% would be paid when you vacate the property. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the 80/20. And that was kind of given out as an idea of something that the district has done previously, when there's been extenuating circumstances for it. And in those situations, we would need a vacation date. We need to know what date that would be. If it's another couple of months, if it's a year, that's what we're just trying to grasp what that time frame would be that you would request.
Whatever. You said a year, no, I, whatever is the longest that we could possibly do, because like I said, this will be our forever home. I'm retired now and he's not able to even walk. So I have to find something that's, we're never gonna move again. It's gonna be permanent.
You're leasing the property right now.
Yes.
Is it, do you have a lease termination date at this point?
Actually, in July, we're gonna meet,
Okay,
and then.
that's generally a year.
Our current lease is up in, I believe, July 1st of 26.
Okay.
Can you generally renew it for a year?
Generally for a year.
Okay. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that is representing, a homeowner or a homeowner themselves? That's it. Okay. So your instructions, counselor. Shall I proceed to do what we're about to do?
You turn to the document that was provided in the packet where you will read out, yes, if you could read that explicitly, then we'll have everyone here leave and we'll officially close the meeting.
I'll read this before I close the meeting.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. I
Been
have
the
pictures.
meeting. Thank you, sorry.
Can't live without it. All right, folks, so hear me out. The Valley Branch Watershed District will transition to a closed meeting pursuant to Minnesota statutes, sections 1(3)-44, subdivision 3, to review and discuss appraisals ordered by Valley Branch Watershed District for the purpose of acquiring land through purchase and pursuant to 13D-05 subdivision 3C to review appraisals and develop or consider offers for the purchase of real property. The real properties that will be discussed during the closed meeting are 7081 Jocelyn Lane North Grand, 2790 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo, 2832 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo, 2778 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo, 2814 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo, 2257 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo, and finally 2764 Legion Avenue North, Lake Elmo. Okay. Now, I can,
If we could kindly ask all of you.
yes, ma'am.
When I talked to Mark also, he was gonna ask about the plans and we said, yeah, whatever. There was an option too that, some Amish people, we had a food ministry, that maybe we could have them build something. And I asked Mark about, would it be okay if we took stuff that was in there, and he said that I would bring that up in the meeting, and since you're bulldozing it, it doesn't matter, it's just up to Mark. That's okay?
No, we'll take that into consideration. I'd love to tell you, please, but
Right,
I don't want somebody to go, hey, where are you going? Yeah,
right,
then I get my hand slapped. What I thought was no reason,
right,
okay?
right.
So we're all right. So as our attorney suggested,
And you are welcome to leave and go home and I'll communicate with all of you with what the district managers decide. Otherwise, we can get you and bring you back in.
Is there like a estimated time of how long? I mean, okay.
we don't know, it could be short, it could be long. We
Okay.
haven't discussed it.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time.
And we appreciate your So go back to the permits and then we discuss this.
You can just go ahead and make those motions.
Oh, okay. So. Right? I'm going to go ahead and do that. I would like to make a motion, and I'm going to follow this. The order that I received them, A, B, C, D, that sort of thing. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So I would like to make a motion. To make the following counter offer for the purchase of the respective real properties. The first one is for 2790 Legion Avenue. The offer of $460,000 with a closing date on or before July 1st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Okay. I would like to
And if
make,
you wish, you can just do it in a batch. You could do the next three all together as one motion.
oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. I wanted to make sure I
Think.
stay. Okay.
You second.
Yeah.
Here we go. So I would like to make a motion for items B, C, and D. Do I have to read those off?
Yes.
Okay. For 2832 Legion Avenue North, the offer of $430,000 with a closing date of September 2nd, and owner must vacate by November 1st, 2025. And 2778 Legion Avenue, the offer of $450,000 with a closing date of September 2nd, excuse me, and owner must vacate by November 1st, 2025. And finally, for 2814 Legion Avenue North, the offer of $510,000 with closing date of September 2nd, and owner must vacate by November 1st. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Okay.
There are two other motions listed there above the one you just read. If you could do those.
Yes,
also,
ma'am.
please.
I'll do those. I'm gonna do those separately, correct?
Please.
Okay, I move to adopt resolution 25-02, approving the purchase of property located at 7081 Jocelyn Lane North as pre-read. Any minor corrections requested by the homeowner may be made without further authorization. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Okay. I would also like to make a motion to authorize the Watershed District Attorney to provide the owner of 2764 Legion Avenue North with the appraisal received by the district. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Right, that is, done. You need this back, Tori?
Nope.
We're good? Okay, that's it. Were you in there somewhere?
Yeah, I was in one somewhere and I'm not quite sure agree with you, but hold on.
We get it, we get it. So,
So my question would be, if I don't agree with you, where do I go from here?
all right, I'm gonna defer to our attorney.
You can reject the offer and not play your role in the district.
Because the reason I ask is, I question your appraiser, because I know the house at 2790 has less square footage, the gutters are falling off, there are issues with that house. My house is in much better shape, it was appraised for less, which doesn't make any sense. So, and I know when I got the appraisal, at least one of the photos that was provided in your appraisal wasn't even of my house. I just pointed that out in the previous email I sent. That's not my bathroom. So there were issues with the appraisal you had done. So I question it, and I think it needs to be reviewed.
Well, Mr. Solomon, I will send you a formal counteroffer that the district has authorized, and then you can do with that as you will. If you want to formally reject it or formally issue a counteroffer, and the district can consider it at their next meeting.
Okay, because I think that's where we're headed, because I'll support at least as much as the one right next door, if not more,
Sir,
given the condition of the two houses.
Just have a question. Can we ask our appraiser to reevaluate and just, if there was some erroneous information on a different house, which I didn't, if there's pictures of bathrooms not even his, I think we need to resolve that
right,
and find out, have him review his.
I think that would be appreciated, because I suspect he just cut and pasted.
so if I may, I don't mean to interrupt you,
Yep.
but procedurally,
Mhm.
is this something that we can authorize now, or shall we wait?
No, you can,
And
you can just direct us to do it.
So
and
I
that
would like to direct our
Sure.
attorneys to, we're gonna have the house reappraised.
Not
No?
reappraise, no,
What are
what,
we gonna do?
Um,
Review?
Further explanation?
yeah, to relay the concerns that have been raised and ask for an analysis and explanation of those specific issues that have been raised.
Are we gonna ask the gentleman to provide information for that?
Well, he sent an email.
I sent
Yeah,
emails with questions and pointing out some discrepancies.
Excellent.
Yep, so we'll send those on to the appraiser, and if it modifies his determination, we'll certainly let the managers know
Okay,
that outcome.
so that's where we're at, so we're on the right track. We hope.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
I'll look to hear from you then, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate your patience.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So, we reconvened the regular meeting. And business and reports continued. Permit 2025-35 garage. Mr. Engineer, lead us into this one.
It's in your packets memo on this, Inspector Flowers very familiar with this property. Landowner would like to remove the existing garage, build a new garage, and then connect that new garage to the existing home with the breezeway. So the project does conform to the district's rules as far as minimum floor elevations. The question again on this one is there's a wetland that basically completely surrounds the existing home and garage up to the 100-year flood elevation. And so the question is, would the managers entertain not requiring a variance over the 100-year flood elevation? And if so, then not requiring an easement over the 100-year flood elevation, and if so, I would ask if they submit a variance for the managers to consider. If the managers say, no, we definitely need an easement, then I won't bring up the variance question.
John, I'm sorry, I keep referring you on that stuff because of.
Find this one.
Yeah,
It did include a couple.
I'm thinking that
additional
was
figures here.
I'm thinking that we need the,
That's 30.
It include a couple additional figures here that show the FEMA 100-year flood elevation.
Yeah.
That pretty much covers the entire parcel. But the more detailed survey information that they provided shows some filling in that area is to make sure that the proposed garage and breezeway are 2 feet above the 100.
we figured that even.
So that what triggered our permit was the additional impervious or?
The bigger the need is because they're working below a floodplain, they're filling flood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, in this one, there is a connection between the work being done and floodplain. It's not like the scenarios that I've always been
Right.
pontificating about.
So this has been a project on the north end of a 20-acre parcel and wetland on the south end.
Right, right.
It's right there.
So this one seems to me to be one where there is a connection. I don't have any problem requiring the easement. If they chose to come in and on their own and ask for variance to not have it, I guess we would have to pick that up. But yeah, this doesn't fit that scenario we've been talking about.
That was my question for the board. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
No, I like the easement to the deal.
So are we ready for a motion on this?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve permit 2025-35.
I will second that.
Aye.
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 It is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Permit 2025-36, St. Mary Cemetery, that's squared away. 2025-37. Grading, okay. John, explain that one for us, please.
President, there's 6 projects located in North South, it's south of 36 and east of the 50th Street. And they are, like here again, they're proposing some fill in the 100-year flood elevation, but they are doing some mitigation for that amount of fill. There are several conditions listed in the memo. This memo was sent out, would have been the Thursday before, 4th of July, and the applicant's engineer has addressed several of these conditions. So that they've addressed suggested site-specific conditions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So here again, there's a 100-year flood elevation. The managers and just to be consistent with the last one, I guess the managers would want to drainage easement.
Yes. And to pay up the remainder of that permit fee.
You know, if treasurer Dawn received it yet.
The fellows.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't received anything recently.
They removed a lot of trees there.
This area is zone commercial. Have they tried to do this in the past, this one?
This is Gary Mulcahy. He owns a lot of the property.
Yep.
in this area.
Okay.
Over in Long Lake, but I'm all for the excuse me.
Get the easement when they do their future development, it'll already be all sewn up, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is just for grading. This isn't constructing any structure.
Yeah. Would you like to make a motion, sir?
Like motion to approve permit 2025-37.
Second?
So moved and seconded.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's approved. Amendment to the 215 to 2025 watershed management plan. Okay,
Mr. President, managers, Greg Williams prepared this memo. It's basically to do a plan amendment so that the managers could purchase the top property if they want. And working with Bowser to be a little bit less specific so that the managers should not have to do another plan amendment if there is another home that pops up. The managers would like to purchase before their next plans.
and Miss Jordan hasn't received this yet, obviously.
She hasn't received the final version of it, but Greg and I did discuss the draft language.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, do the managers have anything? Because I can, make motions here. With hearing nothing, I'll make a motion to authorize Bob to send a letter and proposed plan amendment to plan reviewers for 30-day review. Number two, on the same motion, can I do that? Okay. Set public hearing for August 14th, 2025, and authorize the attorney to publish public notice twice, 14 days and 7 days before the public hearing. Number three, that motion encourage technical advisory committee and citizens advisory committee members to attend public hearings to provide feedback. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
It is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. Next one is the review. Greg Williams. Review the comments provided by the plan track summarized in this memo and provide comment, direction on BAR's recommendations in response to each comment.
Mr. President,
Mr.
Greg mentioned this at the last meeting,
Yeah.
that there was this technical advisory committee meeting. I think it was the day of the last board meeting. And so he prepared this short memo that summarizes some of the advisory committee's comments. They're on the second page.
Yep.
And if the managers have comments, I'll take note of them and pass them along to Greg.
I would like to add that Mr. Riggs had some recommendations. We had some, in my opinion, good solid answers for those. So with that said, do any of the managers have anything? Okay. Hearing anything? We can give direction to bar engineering. We don't need to make a motion. For recommendations in response to each comment. Simple enough. If you could do that for us, John, and then acquire further information from either the managers or other sources, particularly Bowser. And please say thank you to Ms. Jordan. Very good. Lake McDonald Water Quality Meeting with Lake Show owners. So, Rick, you missed out on a beauty.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You obviously have this information.
Yeah.
We all attended the meeting, which was to essentially, provide the, folks, the residents of Lake McDonald with our current situation and what could possibly be done about it, if anything. And I'm going to easily summarize something that John's aware of. That people were concerned about the lily pads. And then I heard from a particular source that the DNR does not engage in or does not allow lily pad removal. And that the water quality is, in some of their estimations, sufficient because of the game fish that live in the lake, that we don't necessarily need to do anything. I stated that we are there to help conditions, but if we're meeting guidelines or goals from other LGUs, who is it in this case? Bowser,
Minnesota Pollution Control Agency.
MPCA.
Make us not.
okay. So that's not happening, so we have to do something, and they have to work with us, and we also reiterated, for you in particular, Rick, that they have to help with not just this, as I pointed out, this panacea of laying down the alum treatment and curing everything that's, more has to be done. So, this is the understanding at this point. And they seem positive in that, they want to do something, they're just not exactly sure what they want to do. Well, we just kept hearing about the lily pads,
Mhm.
well, they, you know, canoes and stuff.
My takeaway from it was if we wanted to come in and clear out all of the lily pads, they would be thrilled. But if our water quality project was going to increase vegetation, they like things just as it is. That was kind of my takeaway.
And if we clear out the lily pad, really, not that even if it was allowed and it's not. We're likely to see more interaction between phosphorus and the sediment and the water columns. I mean, lily pad tubers lock up sediment pretty strong, so. Would exacerbate, and that, you know, speaking to add to what it said is that, you know, the DNR regulates emergent vegetation like bluish and lily pads and such things in a much stricter way than they do submergent vegetation. But they do allow, if there's a riparian owner, they're granted access to open water.
Mhm.
So if they have a solid cattail trench, they're allowed to cut a modest channel to allow like a dock and a boat, so they can get access. That's what's allowed. They don't allow clearance of large amounts of emergent vegetation. People can go through it.
And my understanding, to further explain this, that they didn't seem to get, because they figured that, if we have more vegetative growth, aquatic vegetative growth in the lake, that, when there's a die-off, or because of water clarity, that more plants come in, that it's going to create problems. But if phosphorus is tied up, and again, this is an oversimplification, I know it's much more complex than this. If phosphorus is tied up, and everybody's doing their part to reduce or prevent the added introduction of phosphorus, then we maintain lake clarity to some extent. Maybe? Right? So it's not such a bad thing to have more vegetation come in. Or is it?
It's not. I mean, there are exceptions to this, and so clearly the pond read is particularly difficult exception to it. A shallow lake that's healthy has clear water and a lot of rooted native plants. That's all it works. And we've seen this time and time again. We win the water quality battle, we flip a lake to a clear state. Lots of plants come up and people call them weeds and I hate them.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
I think people kind of expect that all the lakes are deep lakes,
Yeah, they
So
want
they
to see
have
at bottom at the.
big areas of open water. And there's a difference in what their definition of
A clean lake.
healthy lake is.
Yeah.
And another factor on McDonald Lake is it's a private lake. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no public access.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
people, I think, my read on it was they would object to what we were proposing to do. And so I walked away from the meeting thinking, leave well enough alone.
To some extent, but what does the law say? Are we obligated to do anything?
The lake
Okay.
is impaired.
Lake is impaired, but that doesn't mean Valley Branch has to do anything.
Plus, the impairment isn't severe.
Yeah.
If they were having bad blue-green algae blooms, then we would be more inclined or we would want it,
Okay,
but that's not the case.
then for the time being, we could put this to rest and tell the MPCA, hey, what about that site over at, where they had their, was it those people that did that? The fractionator, the foam fractionator, right off of the Tamlin Park.
Right.
Isn't there debris still there?
They still have some things to clean up there. I mean,
Okay.
the actual fractionator unit is gone.
Yeah.
There's some posts and silk fence and pipes and miscellaneous there.
Yeah.
They have to clean, they have to probably remove that driveway and restore the site. That hasn't been done yet.
So, yeah, we'll get to that, but we can mention that to them and say,
Different group.
Yeah.
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 yeah, never mind. Okay, so that's all we need to know at this point. Rick, that was just for your
Thank you.
understanding.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. But it was worthwhile, and we get a feel for, these dynamics dealing with, the public about this sort of stuff. But we offer hope. We offer something. We're not just there, taking money from people. And,
Before we close that, should we,
you know,
do we want to just let John handle the communication, or should we oversee a statement to them that the managers endorse? And I just stated it.
no, I think that's a good idea.
We
I
just
think that's a
stated
good
it,
idea.
basically, so.
Just say, what do you suggest? Thank you very much for attending. We will, maintain our status at this point. And, if we hear further from you, we can have a discussion about, what may or may not need to be implemented in the lake.
You should continue monitoring.
We will continue to monitor.
We have contact information for those folks that were here.
Probably half of them signed in, so I hope.
Okay, so maybe some, yeah, and then maybe they can get the word out to the other.
Right. There you go. Thank you for bringing that up.
Maybe mention that we took their views into consideration. Something like that.
Just kidding.
I don't know if we want to add conjecture of that, the lake appears that it could maybe be a candidate for alum treatment. But if we do that, then the water gets clearer, they could have even more water plants than they have today. That's one
We did point that out.
possible response to the alum treatment.
We did point that out, and they didn't seem real keen on it. Again, the thing was the removal of the lily pads, so. Who do they contact about that? Do they have to deal with the DNR and we're basically out of it?
Yes.
So in that language, I don't know if you want to send them a letter, or if we can handle this, or if we need to, review it or anything. To essentially explain what the managers just pointed out, Don in particular. And then add, I'm trying not to say anything smart alecky. My silliness. That if they have a concern about the lily pads, we are essentially unable to deal with them at this time, and they can contact us.
It's not within our regulatory domain, and they should
Thank you.
contact the local DNR,
I'm gonna go to your house.
plant management personnel, division of ecological and water resources. I can't think of what it is right now.
It's changed a lot.
You're gonna go to your
It
house.
might be April 1, though, might be. Okay, would you like to see a draft before I send it, or do you want me to just send it?
Would the managers be interested in seeing a draft?
No.
I trust John.
Yeah.
We trust you, John.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful. Thank you, gentlemen, for bringing that up. All right, now we move on to Mr. Brower, our inspective inspector. Go ahead, sir.
President County managers, with the recent rain, we've had a couple problem sites out there, but, in one update, I think you see in my report, wetlands at Willowbrook over time, there's an outlet structure by a wetland that was missing the inlet pipe.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a design oversight. They actually installed it today. I was out there earlier in the week, they were dewatering. They had actually let water out of the wetlands so they could install the inlet pipe so the water could move through the system that was designed.
Perfect.
And so they should be good. They'll get things stabilized, but that's finally done. In order for the water to leave that wetland without adding that inlet, it actually would probably flood the street. So it's really important that they install this inlet pipe. So that was finally done and checked off. So I think you've heard my reports about the meadows at Prairie Ridge, but there were some issues. It's a really muddy site. We've had some issues with the wetland ponds. I was with the city. We met with them last week. They regraded the site so the water can't drain to the wetlands anymore. And after the last last rainstorm, I was out there. They didn't have any more additional issues. So that seems to be resolved for now. One thing I know that happened during that, there was a 4-inch rainstorm about a week plus ago. And actually at the Amazon site, Project Wrangler, there's a huge retaining wall along you can see it from 94 along one of the basins. And the blocks are huge. They need an excavator to drop them in. The wall collapsed. They had the storm sewer in, but not open yet. And there was so much rain that it channelized, went down, and they had everything set. They had gravel, drainage, everything. It was just too much rain and it cut a channel and collapsed the wall. So they're actually removing the wall this week when I was out there to rebuild it.
Where was that?
It's right on, it's on Hudson Road. It's the new Amazon building, about half the size of the other one. You can't see it from Hudson Road. You can see the wall from 94. And they're still removing it, but it just dropped and just collapsed. Quite the thing. So now, shows you what water can do. I did have an incident that Shelton South above Sunfish Lake that I've documented and copied Engineer Hansen, Engineer Phillips, Karen Wold from the Wetland Conservation Act. They have stabilized the big hill above the wetland area, but in the big rainstorm, they washed out a bunch of sediment down into the wetland buffer. It's like a big beach of sediment down there. I've asked Karen Wold to comment on, or to meet me out there to comment on, should it be removed? Should they leave it? They obviously need to restore it somehow. What are her recommendations? She's the wetland expert. So we may need to have them just go in there and remove it and then reseed the area. The developer will comply with whatever we need to have done there. So
Good.
but we'll need her feedback. I don't believe it actually made its way into the wetland, so I'm not sure it really requires a DNR notice. But certainly, we're aware of it, Wetland Conservation Act, so we'll take the lead for now until I hear otherwise.
Okay.
And Silver Lake outlet, I think I mentioned to Rick, the water has dropped. I think it was out there a week ago. It was at 11 inches over the weir. Now it's dropped down to 8 inches. So we had a spike and now it's coming down. No issues out there. Everything's flowing.
Incidentally, there was a voluntary no wake
Oh,
Really?
put into enforced broadcast to people. I haven't heard anything about it being removed.
And everybody complied or?
I didn't see any boats out there, but I don't always see, there's a couple of big boats.
No massive weights.
Yeah, not in our area.
well, then if there's any questions that the managers have,
Sure, I have no
including the
questions.
updates.
The managers have any questions like that? We're good, Mr.
All right.
Thank you very much. As always, how are the girls?
The overwintered colony is going gangbusters, 6 supers, I don't know if I'm gonna have 2 more tomorrow. I need a ladder.
Need a forklift.
Yeah. If your John knows how heavy they get,
Yeah.
you have to put the heaviest ones on top
Wow.
to create this whole flow, and so,
I
and they weigh about 45 pounds each. The
Really?
problem is that they stick. So you can imagine the bees glue it one to the other.
Yeah.
So then you have to separate them and see your, yeah.
Make them mad, you're up this high.
Yeah, I can't do that, yeah, I'm, tomorrow I will bring out a step ladder,
Protective mat for your owners.
or my tractor with a bucket, and I think I'll have to add even more. I don't know. The other one, not so good. It's like fishing, John. One side of the boat, everyone's catching fish, the other side of the boat, nothing's happening.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a honey update. Nectar flowing closely.
All right. Then. Thank you, sir. Managers. Rickster, the investment report.
Oh.
What do you need to do?
Um,
By the way, Rick, thank you for the heavy duty work you're doing on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess the big, things are moving along fine. We're still, bringing in some revenue and stuff. That's kind of the first part. And earlier this year, we had $800,000 that we reinvested for 2 years. We have, at the end of July, we've got $400,000 that matures. And I'm recommending that we not reinvest that money. So we'll use that, that'll give us additional cushion for purchasing homes. By the way, the first half of the levy came in, so that's about 1.25 or 1.25 million. That was added to the, that doesn't show up in the treasurer's
Right.
report till next month. So we're bringing in some additional, by the end of July, we'll bring in a significant amount of money. So I guess the big thing is the recommendation of not reinvesting it. That money will sit in the 4M account and earn interest there.
Oh, it will.
Yes, it earns close to the same amount that we would earn with the fixed rate ones, but the fixed rate ones are nice because, if rates go down, we still get the higher rate.
That,
So it's a risk reduction.
I'm not interrupting you, the 800 was invested at what percentage?
I'm not sure exactly. We had up to 5%, a little over 5% interest rates, and down to 4% or so. So somewhere in that range. Mhm.
That's still nice.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely significant. As you can see, the amount of the revenues and stuff. Okay, so I would make another note is just the bank move, that is all completed. Everything's taken care of there. And then I would make a, pardon?
No fanfare.
No, that's worked well. So I make a recommendation that we not reinvest in fixed income investments when the $400,000 matures at the end of July.
Okay. We don't require motions for any of these, do we?
No, okay.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay. Rick, that was beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir. We're in the money. Okay. Future business and meetings. Will all the managers be able to attend July 24th and August 14th?
No, this 24.
Okay, we're I gotta ask, where are you going?
Iowa, of course.
Iowa.
Yeah,
Like, right.
yeah.
Corn and beans, corn and beans, corn and beans.
Cousins. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The danger is dying of boredom.
Oh, my God. Wow. Sounds good, though. I hope it's a lightweight road bike. Okay. So the rest of us will attend. The St. Croix River Workshop, we're all on the water, Taylor Falls Scenic Boat Tours. John, are we all signed up for that?
Brother, I have not signed you all up. If all of you plan to attend, I will sign you up. I heard via Angie Hong that all of the Washington County Commissioners will be in attendance this year.
Okay.
I can't make it. I'm heading to Canada fishing. They have a higher calling. And I like that one, I'm gonna miss it, so.
I can make it.
I will make it.
I'll be there.
I'm going to a place where we put 585 walleyes on my boat in 4 days last year.
Wow.
Wow.
So you're gonna use a net?
Dynamite.
Walk on top of them.
Are we allowed to say this stuff? Sorry. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Sign us up and then please remind us, sir, about where we're supposed to, where are we supposed to meet? Is it,
Taylor's,
we gotta go up there?
so you gotta plan the.
Eight, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. 5:30 PM, that's a nice little ride home. We can talk about carpooling if you guys want. Or we could use Don's truck. Since he's gonna be up in Canada. You guys are flying up there, right?
My truck is busy.
Oh,
We're driving 5 hours north and the next before.
that's not bad. I've been there, that's nice. Okay, the Washington County Fair, July 30 to August 3. So I haven't signed up for anything, and we don't have a booth. We're not doing a booth this year because we have to set up for it, right?
It's the same as last year and previous years, since we shared with MRAP and Washington Conservation Service.
So, I haven't looked, unfortunately, I haven't looked at Angie's email, but I would like to make 1 or 2 special guest appearances.
Did everybody receive Angie's email? So if you need help signing up, let me know, otherwise I'll assume you guys are.
Help,
Take it.
yeah. I want to do the mosquito larva races again. Those were fun. All right, whatever. Too much. And, do they still have that gal with them at WCD? She's gone. I liked her. She was so nice. And then I told her I wanted to sneak off and get a foot-long dog. And she goes, "Oh, you just stay right here." She went and brought me one.
Hmm.
Don't tell me. Okay, so, we can do that. You fellas, you can volunteer if you think it's fun.
I've done it.
Hot. Make sure you get a fan on you.
I'm not harvesting hops right
Yeah.
at fair time. I can do it this year.
Don't your wife told you no more of that?
Yeah,
Put
I'm
it-
retired from.
Too bad. And the Minnesota Watershed's annual meeting on resolutions and petitions, August 25. Remind us as we get closer to that and
I guess the decision is if you want to keep the same delegates as you had in March,
I suppose,
then I think they was Vice President Pierre is number 1, I think President Michelle was number 2, and Secretary Bog was the alternate.
I'm still resolutions committee chair, so I have to be there. And this one's gonna be way easier than last year. We're gonna
Really?
have 3 resolutions. So it's gonna be,
Uh-huh.
and it's virtual only, no physical presence. So it's gonna be an easy lift this time.
nice.
And just as a reminder, after we do that, then we, with the new process, then we voice it down with our lobbyists and we determine the legislative platform for the coming year. And keeping in mind that resolutions are on the books for 5 years and since chlorides are, if I'm just spinning our wheels, I'm gonna try to push for the resolution passed last year to start to talk about a regulatory approach to chlorides.
Mhm. Yeah,
Limited liability stuff continues to go nowhere, unfortunately.
We good? With that said, motion to adjourn.
second,
So moved and seconded.
aye,
Aye,
Aye.
aye.
we are adjourned.